we're gonna open the, June 1st meeting of the West Bridgewater Water Commission at 5:06 PM.
Yes,
Would you like to make a motion?
make a motion to accept the minutes of
May 18th.
May 18th, 2026.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Warrant's been signed by two of us. And we will go down to the Tata and Howard update on projects. James?
Uh-oh.
Whole big package.
Stick a little there for Mark. I also have an extra copy here if you want to give it to Wayne.
You can stick it
Just
with
leave it
you.
up here.
Yep, thank you.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we can start with Manly. It's, we're hopefully nearing the end. We were on site today doing another walkthrough, trying to knock some items off the punch list. They requested substantial completion, and we're planning to issue substantial completion with the caveat that we're holding back time for the performance test and DEP inspection. So that will be held back from the retainage so that if anything comes up as a result of those two items, there's enough financial incentive
Yep.
to come back and address it. So taking a look,
Oh, do we have a schedule on the DEP?
so we are still waiting for Wayne to have time to flush the wells and backwash the vessels. So the plan is, originally the plan was to do it for the second half of this week. I haven't had a chance to confirm with Wayne whether he's still ready for that or not. But at the same time, the idea was to come and test alarms. So I think that's scheduled for Wednesday, just because.
Regardless.
Yeah, so we're hoping Wayne's available to also do the flushing at that time, but we'll be on site with the contractor and the integrator on Wednesday, essentially to do a dry run of all the alarms, because there was a lot added, but also we wanna go through the original and make sure, because DEP's not gonna care what work is new versus what is 20 years old. They're gonna expect, all of it to pass if it was new work. So, where there might be some alarms that haven't been tested in 20 years, we just thought it would be a good idea to do a dry run. So that's scheduled for this week, and if that goes well, and Wayne confirms that he can flush.
Yeah, probably questionable for this week, but we'll figure it out.
So, so that's the idea, is to kind of do that last step. If this goes antsy to get out of there, and we're antsy to get them out of there.
Yep.
And as you know, as this work goes on, eventually, we're gonna be relying on Manly to pick up some slack, so. Just looking at the, project costs, we've updated the project budget, and as you can see, we're still trending under budget on the project. So essentially, there's about $517,000 that we originally thought was gonna be paid by SRF loan, which then would be, an impact to the rates. And, that has been reduced two ways. One, by using ARPA funds, but also having the engineering coming in under budget. In terms of the change orders, nothing has changed there. Nothing will change there. That's all, completed. So any outstanding items would be, warranty or cleanup type items. So we're not anticipating any future change orders.
So instead of the 517, what do you estimate in?
So instead of the 3.9 million, you're only gonna have a principal of about 3.4 million.
Nice.
So that 500,000 is
Oh, that's
your
all cut off,
savings.
okay, I thought, I was reading that wrong.
Yeah.
Should be able to pay that off in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess any other questions on Manley?
Uh, That's the SCADA upgrade that we didn't, how much of that is done? Is that still gonna,
So we're on the understanding that it is done.
okay,
That's why we have kind of this test on Wednesday, is to make sure that we agree it's done, because we weren't on site when the SCADA upgrades were happening. And that's typical, there's not much for us to see in the moment, looking over someone's, shoulder at a computer. And then just, on the subject of ARPA, we talked about it briefly before the meeting, but just so, Mark is aware, that some of the past work at Manley was included in the emerging contaminants grant. So that impacts both the Manley project as well as the Sierra Norman. And, for example, all of the short-term PFAS work we had done over here at Manley, the previous phase that led up to this, those funds are gonna be reimbursed through the emerging contaminants grant. And we got the news today that it's been approved by EPA and is now moving back into the, award phase, so to speak. So hopefully in, 30 to 60 days, we'll get a notice to proceed. And at that point, we would expect reimbursement for those costs. So, costs that were previously spent on the project will be reimbursed. And that applies also to the next project.
anything we can do that keeps it off the rates will be helpful.
Yeah, and then again, that's funding that we, hoped was there, but, to be conservative, the last time we did a rate evaluation, we didn't know what that was gonna be, so, those past costs were captured in that.
Yeah, so basically, once we get that, the final thing to sign off on it, and we know that number, we can start looking at the rates again, as we're getting closer. Any questions on Manley for James?
No.
Mark?
No.
Warren? Okay, Sierra Norman?
All right, so Sierra Norman, a little bit more going on. So the first page here is the, funding update. There's not a whole lot to talk about except for what's changed. So we've updated the spent and estimate to complete, everything in terms of, contract and engineering, still on track in terms of, the budget. We'll get into the PCOs a little bit. But I just want to point out that the construction cost includes through pay application number 9, which is technically still in process, but we believe that the value of the pay application number 9 is accurate. We're just working through the paperwork and some of the DEP requirements before that comes before the board. But just, to put in context that this is through pay app 9, which is currently in process. Speaking of pay app 9, pay app 8 also needs to go to the board for signature. And as part of what I talked about today, that's being held up by some paperwork on Waterline's end. They owed us a form, which we got today, but they also owe us an AIS cert. And so, we recommend that the board, process that once we have that AIS cert, because we don't want to put you in a position where you're approving a package that then is not eligible for DEP reimbursement, or that the reimbursement is going to be unnecessarily delayed by the contractor. So, once we do have that, I think the request would be to do the warrant and get that approved for payment as soon as possible, because that work was done back in April, and that it's a paperwork issue on their part, but they're still gonna appreciate, I guess, quick payment once we can clear that paperwork hurdle.
So do we have the actual form for signatures?
So we sent out the forms for Wayne's signature and for your signature today, so
I
we have
returned
it
mine.
in place. And we also got the one form back from Water Line. So once we have the AIS cert in hand, at that point, we would take those forms that we sent you and Wayne today, add them to the package, and then send them to Carrie and Wayne for, the
And
warrant.
for Kerry to put on a warrant and for us to take, okay. But not, but right, as of right now, they're not here to do anything,
Correct.
because we're still waiting, okay.
We need at least the AIS cert, especially since they kind of admitted that they're having a hard time getting it. So,
Which brings to the other question, what's, if they can't get that cert for that particular building? Because that's an alternate building from what was in the spec, which we've gone through before, back and forth. If they can't get the certs that makes that eligible, what recourse do we have? Because that's a
yeah,
big
I
chunk
actually
of.
don't know, we've never run into that. I think if the threat of non-payment is there, that Water Line will ultimately have to make it. You know, it's a clear requirement in the specifications that everything needs to meet the AIS requirements, so they're contractually obligated to comply. And if they're not able to, then that's gonna be legal trouble for Water Line. And certainly wouldn't be anything that we'd consider, you know, water department liability. But that would be a new path to go down. We've never run
Well,
into that.
this is partly not even so much them, this is because the DEP's asking for a different level of the AIS certification. Correct,
That's part of it.
part of it.
Yeah, essentially it's more work for the manufacturer now.
Yeah.
And where, again, DEP is being more stringent than they've ever been before, some of these manufacturers are, you know, this is the first time they've gotten pushback on these AIS certs. So, you know, I don't necessarily think it's that they're not interested in doing it, I just think it's they've never had to do it before and are, you know, maybe scrambling to give them the benefit of the doubt, how to do it.
Okay,
So we'll circle back to the change order piece first, but just to, I guess, to finish up the update part, the next page here is our 3-week look ahead. So at this point, the second tank has gone through its leakage test. It passed the quantitative piece, which is where we measure the water level drop. There was rain during the test period, so we did extend the test beyond. It was, you know, supposed to end, you know, the Monday of Memorial Day, but we didn't come and measure till Tuesday, and we didn't see a measurable drop. But we were concerned that rain over Memorial Day weekend may not have, you know, may have been hard to accurately measure the rain and take that into account. So we extended the test to Thursday of last week, where we had no rain, and essentially repeated the measurements and confirmed that
put $1 in the jar.
that the water level, you know, change was, you know, correlating to the amount of evaporation during those days. That being said, on Thursday, they did do one more round of injections to where there were visible damp spots to clean those up. And then this morning when we were on site, it was hard to tell because everything was
Still
wet.
damp.
And as things dried up, it looked like there was improvement. But there were 2 spots that didn't fully dry out in the sun today, so we're just gonna keep an eye on them and make sure it's residual moisture from, you know, this weekend's rain as opposed to, you know, presence of a leak still being there. But Waterline believes that the latest round of grout injection they did resolved it. So we're just gonna keep an eye on it, make sure that we agree.
So they're gonna start waterproofing on the other walls?
Yeah, so right now that one still has water in it. So, you know, it's a sunny day today. We're not expecting any rain overnight, so we'll, you know, check it again tomorrow morning. But they're gonna start on the other tank that, you know, passed a few weeks ago. And they're gonna apply the water coating on the inside of that tank. And then kind of drain the second tank once, you know, we're all okay with it. And then we'll waterproof that one. Then they're gonna come behind and start backfilling once that's in place. Because they can't do any more concrete formwork until the grade is brought back up closer to the tanks. So that's kind of gonna be their focus, you know, aside from some trench paving out there this week, the bulk of their work for the next 2 to 3 weeks is gonna be waterproofing those tanks, backfilling, and then starting to form up the next set of footings for the elevated slab and the slab on grade.
So they're gonna finish the interior coating before they do the exterior waterproofing?
Yeah, so we have what we call like waterproofing on the inside and then damp proofing on the
On the
outside.
And can they even finish the first tank until they drain the second one? Because they have common wall.
They can, because there is a gap for the pipe gallery in between the two.
Okay. I know they were concerned about getting the sub out to get that going, so
Yeah.
hopefully that all works, they can start getting that done.
Okay, so going back to that first page, down on the change order side, there are some updates. Essentially PCO 9, 10, and 11 are the ones we're going to talk about today that the board hasn't voted on yet. PCO 9 is additional work for the pipe penetrations for the fire protection service and the finished water line where they entered the building on the east side. Last time I was here, we had an estimate that PCO was going to be $11,475, but the final proposal we have in front of you today is for $6,621. Essentially, the issue here is the footing on that side of the building is stepped in a really unique way because that wall has some portions that are slab on grade and some portions that tie into the tank. So instead of having a deeper than necessary foundation the whole way, it kind of steps down as you go from the slab on grade section to supporting the slab adjacent to the tanks. And the elevations shown for those pipe penetrations coming in this one section of the step was in conflict with where the actual building is. And we didn't want them to actually insert those pipe penetrations through the footing. Originally, we looked at maybe going beneath them, but we couldn't get confirmation that the load of the footing underneath was distributed enough that we wouldn't see potential damage of those pipes if there was some settlement. So what we've done is moved the penetration to be just above the footing through the footing wall, which is a typical location for those penetrations. But in order to do so, we did have to add some fittings, and the fire protection line specifically has about 4.5 feet of cover instead of 5, and because that line can be, static, it's not continuously in water, we did put some insulation above it. So in the next first package, PCO 9, kind of on that first page, you can see it resulted in, a handful of extra work. We did get some credits for some fittings that, we're no longer using, as well as paying for some we are, and then a little bit of extra labor. So that PCO results in $6,621 dollars, and that one we're recommending payment because we don't really have another option. We're committed to the foundation design, and we can't relocate those lines. So we're looking for approval of that PCO. And then the next one, PCO 10.
Let's stick on one at a time, so if
Okay.
there's a question. I've talked to James about it already before, but any questions for James on what is in the change order?
Well, I don't understand how this can come about if this is designed and approved by, I don't know how many people in your office, and now we've got another change order, $6,000. How does that happen?
Yeah, it's just, unfortunate.
Well, it's unfortunate, but we end up paying.
I understand, but our point of view is that it's what's needed for the project to work, and if we caught it during design, it would have been constructed the same way. The costs would have still been there, but it would have been included in the base bid as opposed to coming out of the contingency. So, that's not to say, that's the way we want it to go down, but in terms of, actual costs of ratepayers, it's, you're paying from it out of the contingency as opposed to.
It's still, I know, James, but it's still our money. It's still,
I understand.
it's still our money. And this is what bothers me, stuff like this. Because this is designed by you guys, and, we come across with a number that we agree to, it's a big nut, and we agree to it, then we get change orders like this because somebody screwed up. And we have to, meaning the 7,500 people in West Bridgewater have to pay the bill. This is the stuff that aggravates me. I know it's only $6,000 out of 16 million, but this is the stuff that aggravates me that shouldn't happen out of your office. So I guess our hands are tied. If it had happened at the original design, yeah, it would have been caught, it would have been added onto the price. Okay, that's a good answer.
Yeah, but I certainly understand your frustration, and I know you're coming from a point of you don't want to see unnecessary costs for ratepayers, so, I understand your perspective.
And we do have a contingency, but I want that contingency to go back.
Understood.
I don't want to use any of that contingency. We've already rejected, I don't know how many, three or four out of 7 so far we've rejected, so I don't plan on spending any of that contingency. But anyways, I've vented.
Yeah, I understand your point of view.
Next time, make that decaf.
They don't make cold brew and decaf,
Mark,
Mr. Chairman.
questions?
What's next week's?
What's that?
What's next week's?
Oh, we got 2 more. We
Just
got 10 and
two more
11.
to go. All right, well, while we're on this one, I'll entertain a motion.
Crickets. Well, I guess we have no option. I mean,
Well, again, however you want to eventually address anything about what may or may not have been wrong on their plans, we have to operate this between us and the contractor
Yeah,
to get it done. So, I
well,
mean,
I will make,
the difference would be not to do this, and then that puts a hold on that
No,
piece until they come up
that's-
with another way.
no. Then it
Yes.
delays the job, and then they'll be looking for additional time on the contract, and that's a bunch of, God, I gotta watch my language.
All right, so,
So I'll make the motion for the
Thank you.
6,000, whatever it is, the 60.
just to approve PCO
Yeah,
number 9.
PCO number 9.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
I'd rather go through them one at a time and keep circling back.
That's fine, I was,
Just a quick one. I'm gonna take a
oh,
look.
I see.
Thank you.
All right,
So PCO 10, we've talked about previously. This is the optional change order related to the Hungerford and Terry upgrade. So just a reminder what this one entails. We put together specifications that were able to be bid by multiple manufacturers. It was non-proprietary and performance-based. However, Hungerford and Terry is the vendor that the contractor is going through. Hungerford and Terry is a vendor that we liked and we're happy that they got selected. And going through the shop drawing process, they pointed out that the way they like to do their air scour is to use forced air from a blower through some air control valves. Right now we have manual valves because that is proprietary to their system. And speaking with Wayne, he much prefers the alternate that Hungerford and Terry is recommending. We also like the way Hungerford and Terry does it, and it's consistent with what is present over at the Manley Street. However, because we had to make the project proprietary, it wasn't in the
Yeah,
contract.
in other words,
price
we
to do
couldn't,
that.
we couldn't spec the bid out with this type of control system, because Hungerford and Terry's the only one that makes it.
Right. So PCO 10 essentially is, PCO for $17,100, which adds that functionality to the treatment plant. And our recommendation would be to, move forward with it. And, the last time we discussed this at the board, everyone seemed to be in favor of it. It was just a matter of getting, a formal price from the contractor. So that's what's in front of you today is the formal price.
And that's, what, yeah, it's 5 control valves plus electrical, and that includes tying the instrumentation into the SCADA system and everything else.
Exactly, so it's,
It's no, there's nothing extra coming up after that, that's complete.
exactly, it includes the extra conduit, the signal and power. It also includes the labor to do the physical connections as well as, the integration.
Is there a credit in there for the valves that are being eliminated?
Essentially, the credit is coming from Hungerford and Carey, where they're saying they're gonna provide
That-
motor
this
operated
is-
valves at no additional cost to the manual ones. And the change order is really just for the water line part of it, not for the Hungerford and Carey valves.
James, how'd they come up with 84 hours to do this? Because it doesn't, I mean, you're talking, other than 800 feet of thermostat wire, you're talking, I mean,
It's heavy.
Yeah, so it's something we'll have to keep an eye on them as we're actually doing that work. Their explanation was that all of their labor is estimated using their proprietary software, and that, they punch in the quantities and the amount of work, and it generates the labor.
this is what he's got 10 elbows, 35 couplings, he's got, I'm only a plumber and I can understand this then. I could have someone that doesn't know anything about plumbing at all get this done in less than 2 weeks.
Yeah, so I mean, we
I
kind
mean,
of
I
said
just
the
think
same,
it's-
and, that's why, we have a full-time RPR, so, we'll be,
But we're not going T&M, we're going, this is an estimate that he's giving us, that he's gonna go according to,
I mean, we can put them on notice that we're gonna be watching the labor and that we'll expect the credit back
yeah.
if it's less than 84.
I can't see any. I wish something would, okay, you got 100,
John, see, it's because you do private work, not public work.
I get it, but
It's different hourly rates, they're different
I'm not even
hourly
talking, I'm
work.
just talking about 84 hours, that's
Yeah.
2 hours, that's 2 weeks worth of work.
Yeah, I mean, we asked the same question, right? So our first reaction was, why is it 84 hours? And, that was their explanation to us, and, so we can, put them on notice that, we will move forward with the work, but, we'll expect the credit if the labor is
Yeah.
not 84 hours.
Will those hours be tracked?
Yeah. We have a RPR on site, full-time.
What is he tracking, I know how,
That will be something that'll be told to track as part of that. As part of that. So you good with if we accept it, subject to adjustment if the,
yeah, I am, Mr. Chairman.
Mark?
Second.
Can you repeat that, please? With the motion?
Well, I guess the motion would be contingent on the amount of hours that they put through. They've listed 84 hours, and I'm thinking that's too much time
Yeah,
to take.
the motion we accept PCO number 10 with the contingent on adjustment for the number, labor hours if they're less than 84.
Thank you.
By John, seconded by Mark, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, and then the final PCO is a no-cost change order. So Waterline is requesting an extension on the contract time. So they had originally sent a letter back in January, putting us on notice that the amount of time it was taking to get the foundation, concrete, and rebar all approved, meant that they were starting the project late. Originally, they had put us on notice that, if we were to hold them up, that they had monthly operating costs, and we told them that we would not entertain any such discussions. Kind of down the path, we feel, you know, as the project went on, we feel like that was pretty well vindicated by the fact that, when we did get the metal building submittals, it did impact the foundation, so in our opinion, it was correct that our consultant wouldn't approve the rebar until that was in place. And so, as a result of that, Waterline essentially has backed off the monthly cost and is simply saying that based on the schedule where it is today, they cannot meet the original time. They're asking for a 90-day extension. So we are of the opinion that since they're now saying it's a zero cost change order, that we would recommend approving it. Long story short, looking at their schedule, we believe they cannot meet the original schedule based on where they are today. You know, we maintain that that's their own doing. That being said,
Whose fault is it?
in our opinion, it's the contractor,
Why?
because they went with a metal building
building.
manufacturer, whose design was not compatible with the foundation on the design plans. So,
And took an extremely long amount of time to get the foundation loads set, that the structural needed to be able to redo the foundation.
But he changed the building, right?
Yeah, he changed the building, which meant the foundation had to change, but they were slow getting the information back to us, or back to them, so that they could review it and determine whether it needed to change or not. Once it did, they had to redesign. So it's on them
right,
with that, because of that building.
so that's why we believe they dropped the cost and are now asking for a no-cost change order to extend it.
Now, do you think, when you looked at the time frame, do you think they need the 90 days?
I do. Originally, the concrete was moving ahead of schedule, but it took them longer to do the grout injections and, you know, clean up the concrete, and they kind of gave all that time back. So we just think based on where they are today and what they have left to do, 90 days is appropriate.
So part of it was the building, and then where they could have made it up, they just lost it again
Yeah.
because of the leaks. Okay. That has no effect on the SRF funding or anything else with that,
Correct.
right? So we're not risking any money by giving them
That's correct.
anything like that, all right?
So when would the finish date be?
So it's now March of next year.
I thought they were supposed to finish in September.
No, they
It
completion,
was, yeah, originally it was, I think, late October, was what they were proposing.
Now it's March.
yeah, but the contract date
So
wasn't
yeah, this is
October.
an extension for the contract dates as opposed to their original schedule.
Yeah, because by contract, they were in like December. They were gonna try to hit it hard and get out of here by October. I wouldn't be surprised, once it gets further on, they may move a little faster.
What were they hitting?
Hmm?
What were they hitting?
Us.
They were hitting us.
Questions for James or opinions on how to proceed?
I say no for now. If they can pick up the pace, then they can pick up the pace instead of giving them 90 days now. See what happens in a couple of months. The summer's upon us. Maybe they'll move, get their fingers, maybe they'll get it moving faster. I mean, it's their own fault.
Mark, your opinion? We don't have to approve it tonight.
Yeah, I think we should
can hold
talk
this
about
and
it.
approve it at a different meeting if we need
I
to.
think we should talk about it.
Motion to table.
I have a motion on the floor to table.
Table it. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
2 out of 3.
Okay, so is there anything you want from me as you, I guess, continue to discuss it?
Give us more paperwork, give us something to talk about,
This isn't
give me
enough.
more of an argument. Why, you know, well, you know.
Yeah,
what I'm
I think their point of view is they lost, 90 days at the beginning of the project, and they were hoping to make it up, and they haven't been able to. And at this point, I think a lot of their milestones are gonna be locked in based on when equipment can come on site, when, electrical gearboxes, stuff like these long. lead
That's not our
items come in.
fault,
I don't believe any of it's your fault,
Yeah.
I agree.
you know?
But I mean, at some point, DEP will not let us continue beyond the contract date, so, at some point, we're gonna
Yeah.
have to make the contract match when they're off-site.
Well, they're gonna have some snow days coming, I'm sure, so they can pick up some time that way, like the school kids do. See what happens.
Snow days make it take longer, I'm not sure.
Well, that's what they're gonna get extensions, they'll get more time, so they'll get a week because of no school all day.
Right, well, we'll bring it back up
Next week.
at the next meeting. And if there is anything you think of in the meantime, as far as where they might be able to, where there might be adjustments, because the schedule, the way they do it on these are a pain to
It is tricky.
try to
follow.
pull it through, but,
Yeah.
I mean, it's early enough in it where they, if they can get other things delivered. We're caught up on, I think, all the submittal returns and such,
Yeah.
so there's nothing holding them up ordering materials or equipment or anything.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
if they can
one-
get the stuff in and delivered, and if they need space to deliver, we have places we can, help them with on-site storage. So they don't have, if they can get it and get it here and have it sitting here when they're ready to go. Anything we can do to help them, get the schedule up, we could do.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
just,
but they should be ordering it as soon as.
well,
it's
that's
ready.
the thing, and if they order it and they start getting the stuff to come in, and once it comes in, they get paid for the materials.
Absolutely.
So, if we can work that out a little bit
On a
tighter.
good note, James, I've heard some good comments from the people that live on Norman Ave about how, professional these people are and they're very polite and all that, so
Good.
I will relay that to you.
Appreciate that.
That is all complete at this point? Have they passed their pressure and disinfection testing and all?
I haven't seen the test results come back yet. I think the issue is they're going directly to Wayne. So I don't know if they came in today maybe. But,
He's on vacation.
right.
Is that what that blue poly line is up by I see it exposed at that island,
Yeah.
is that for the
Yeah.
disinfection?
Are they cutting trees down there,
On Norman?
right here?
They did some initially.
No, like within a couple of days?
Oh.
Not water line shouldn't have been. On the inside the gate, or?
Mhm.
Mother Nature, storm.
Mother Nature don't make sod possible.
So I
We'll
guess
have to find out.
I do want to circle back to this front sheet with the budget and just kind of go over the change order. So I just want to point out that with PCO 9 and 10, we're currently using $1,385 of a contingency. So that is, this form here is updated, assuming that those would be approved. So when you look at the budget status and the change order, those are already included in there.
Okay.
So now, on the two that we accepted, there's something we have to sign here tonight, you're gonna
No,
process
so the
nothing?
idea was to essentially take change order 2 and combine 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 into a single change order. So what we'll do is we'll pull 11 out of that and prepare change order 2 to be 7, 8, 9, and 10.
And that'll, you'll send that along.
Yeah, I do think there's a chance Waterline will push back on the schedule, but that's,
Again, we're not,
we have at
we're
that
not
time.
saying no and just wanna take a little more time to think about.
Which I think is a fair approach. I have no issue with that.
So according to your numbers then, James, we're like, in terms of contingencies, contingency money, we're kind of like broke even because of the credit we gave them on number 4.
Right.
35,000, we used about maybe 36 so far with these change orders today.
Yeah. And we, like, again, like you acknowledge, we never planned on spending all the contingency, but the total project budget
Yeah.
is currently under budget by that amount, which is,
Good.
yeah. And the only
So
cost that's still out there that we're anticipating is that winch. We just don't have a number from them yet. But as of today, that's the only other cost
I'm
that's
afraid of that.
out there.
Right. We're gonna determine who's paying for that too. Okay.
Probably have one in that barn of yours somewhere we could just take. You'd never even know it was missing. Anything else, sir?
Nope. Happy to answer any questions you guys have.
No, thank you, James. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Anything else for James?
Have nothing.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, James.
Have a good night.
You too.
I give you the minutes already? All right. Okay, Mr. Macy.
Good evening, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon, sir. If I
Yeah,
can
this is
provide-
late enough to be evening.
I do only have one full-size copy, hopefully it's not a
You got any smaller ones, 8.5 by 16?
I do not, I can provide those with you after, I kind of want
Yeah,
to.
this is better to look at
Is it right if I
here.
kind of sit here and point?
Yeah,
to the
yeah,
screen?
definitely.
So originally, trying to get some kind of feedback, so originally we planned on coming in Bryant Street. Then basically, the topography is,
Okay.
the topography is like super flat between here and here. So we had a second option of coming in off of South Street. It worked better for drainage and stuff. Conservation really, we tried to make it work. They really don't want it, the road coming in from South Street whatsoever. So they asked us to try to go back and explore some options on Bryant Street and put some kind of detention basin and everything up in front. So that's what we have here. Obviously, as you know, there's a 4-inch water
Yeah.
main on Bryant Street. There's an 8-inch water main on South. One of the options that we thought we had, so this parcel is currently approved as a 2-lot subdivision. So we were thinking about, and obviously need feedback and speak to you guys about an easement to bring the water line through here. But we kind of don't know what you're looking for and kind of feedback to talk about that. That we still can do because we wouldn't actually have, their main concern
You'd
was.
be
that-
outside of the 50.
Exactly.
Is that what that red line is?
Yes,
50.
exactly. So that was the biggest concern. There is water issues with some of, obviously, the neighbors. But we kind of explained that to them that, you know, topography would work better the other way. But for some reason, they would really set that wanting it on Bryant Street, the entrance.
Do you know who has the approval for the 2-lot?
The subdivision is from planning, but we haven't went back to Concom, but that's already been approved from the planning board.
Do you have where the road goes in?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And these 2 lots are already stubbed. Like, we've already brought those off the road and everything.
Okay,
The
so
water.
it's just
Yeah.
straight in, you don't have like a road coming in and out?
It's basically right here. Like the 40-foot comes up here, and it's a T right here. The house is back here, and this is here. So this easement wouldn't affect that.
I was saying if there was gonna be a road coming up, we'd rather have it in the road as far as it could go before it required an easement, but not, it just doesn't sound like that.
Yeah,
to
because
us.
it's basically a 1-lot subdivision, so I don't know if you've seen them around town, they're like a glorified driveway.
Oh.
You know, so it's one of them has the frontage, 150 feet. That one has 40 feet coming in with the hammerhead, and then it's back there.
So you'd be bringing, what, an 8 into here?
Correct.
Off of R8?
You only have a 4 out here.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
This would be an 8. 'Cause
Yes,
otherwise,
sir.
I know Wayne had mentioned something about that before, concern about pulling water off this
Agreed.
for the number of houses.
And I don't know what we would do, obviously, when we come in here, if there's some kind of adapter, how you would even,
Yeah,
if you
and
want.
Are we tying into the 4-inch over here, or are you
Well,
gonna just,
that's what we kind of wanted feedback from you guys to think about, like,
I don't like the dead ends.
right,
I mean, and it would actually help, and you can get there's different ways of making that connection.
okay,
you know, probably wanna, when Wayne's available, have him take a look at what his preferred way would be, because with the 4 inch, you're probably gonna cut it out and put in a couple of adapters.
Oh, so you put a piece of 8 inch in between the four, before you, instead of putting it like an 8x4 T in?
Come in with basically an 8x8 T
Oh, okay.
with valves on either one, and then
So we can
reduces.
isolate that, so we can actually,
And that way it helps
The
feed
pressure.
this in the first place, and if you ever get the money to extend, you just put the 8 on and continue it,
Okay.
rather than try to do anything to that pipe.
okay, and it's all ductile iron
Yeah.
here, correct, okay.
Do you have a copy of the standards?
I don't,
If
I do.
Kerry can get that for you, that covers everything from the pipe, the services, the corporations, hydrants, everything else.
okay.
Um,
There'd be 8 homes off this line. That's an existing house. It does have well water, but it has a service into the house right now. The old brick house. It does not have a water meter on it.
Oh, that's the old brick house.
That's
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's kind of sometimes you.
Yeah, I was
look
thinking
at
going
it
further
upside
down.
So it's actually 2 wells on that property, kind of odd. But that does, the intention is to leave that with the water service rather than a well.
You said it's unmetered,
It's
This
just
one?
the lines inside of it, doesn't have a meter inside the
Alright.
house right now at all.
so we'd have to add a meter to that
Yeah.
at that point. Hydrant out
Um,
here?
Where's the other half of the plant?
oh, it ends right here. It's probably, yeah.
This is,
Yep, there's a smaller version if that helps it.
yeah, so just couldn't see those two houses.
Yeah.
Bringing the water down.
It's obviously gonna need a culvert in here, so, assuming what the distance is, I think it's like 600 feet from the fire department. So I think we would probably put one before the culvert, however it lays out, you might even have it laid out.
So there's no hydrant over here?
The hydrant over there is directly across the street from the 2 lot subdivision already on South Street. Is already-
So we already have a hydrant here.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Show it.
Right there.
Right.
So yeah, we'd tie in there, come across, we don't need hydrants on the cross country. It'd be nice to have one at the end, very end for flushing,
Just flush it out.
that's the only,
I mean, if we're gonna have to dog the water line underneath the culvert, I think it doesn't really matter to me whether I put it here or here. It just depends on what the length of the road is. Is it 600? Is your?
it's more than that, this is station 100, 2, 3,
No, I
4.
meant your. It's a thousand. That's a thousand.
That's 1,000 feet to here.
So, do you want one at the beginning? It depends, I guess.
I
where
was
you're-
almost saying one at the beginning
one at the end.
and one at the
And
end.
then one in the middle.
No,
You gotta have them for every 500 feet, that's how much they carry a
That-
4 inch.
That's the problem. Is Sean's correct about the.
yeah, but you could come in,
There's not a loop
you can
there?
come in from there will be a loop through here, but that's off the dead. That's why I'd like to rather see one down the end here, if we could.
Either way, you're gonna end up with 3 hydrants.
Yeah.
I want
End up
3,
doing
yeah.
that.
One in the middle, one in the end, and that way they can flush out all.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't really see another way. I mean, obviously, it's better long term. I don't really see another way. Not that I wanna put a 3rd hydrant in, I just don't see another realistic way of doing it.
No, and there is we'll have in our standards there,
We'll
on
have
how
to-
to make that connection, what we wanna have for a valve and
You-
valves and stuff
usually,
like
we
that.
end up usually doing an 8x8 T with a Foster and T on the end and megalog and hang the gate. So that'd be pretty much standard. I'm assuming you probably have Mueller for your. Do you have a preference?
Yeah.
Mule.
Mueller.
That's fine.
And if, would like to see something for your proposed connections
Okay.
to come through at least for Wayne to look at, whether or
Yeah.
not it goes through the actual board or not.
Yeah.
But just so he knows what's going in and sign off on it.
Sure, we've been.
Sometimes, these couple of jobs he's gone out and it's like, okay, that's not what you said you were putting in.
Yeah,
So we
No,
wanna make
we-
sure that's
I-
covered up front.
we've been using duct line, Mueller and copper services in Brockton for like the last 5 years. We've done like 8,000 square feet, 8,000 linear feet of ductile, so it's,
Okay.
seems a standard from what I've seen, seems very
Yeah,
similar to the
we
city.
like ductile and we like copper services.
Yeah.
So,
That's what we've been doing for a while.
and I think even the corporation stocks and stuff are all Mueller.
They have.
Yeah, that's,
Basically.
yeah, we've been using. It depends on the boxes to use, like the Erie style box or the Buffalo, there's only 2 different ways, but I can confirm that.
It's in that,
Yeah.
I believe. Because I don't remember. Well, as soon as you said it.
Yeah, no,
you-
just went.
You gave me 2 and now I can't remember which one it was.
Erie's like the long rotted one with where the Buffalo box is bigger. It's just a different gate key. You can tell by the gate key too.
Well, I said it should say in
Yeah.
there, so it all matches up.
Sure, not a problem.
And like at this intersection, we'll obviously want to shut off.
Yeah, I'd plan on putting a T right
And
there,
then here we-
anchor and T,
yep.
and then just isolate. Depending on obviously the valve, unless you want a valve here, so you can isolate that.
It'll depend on how it all lays
Sure.
out.
I would imagine you'd have a valve here, and then isolate obviously you have to isolate there, but I would make it so that you
Well,
can
there'll be an
isolate.
isolation to
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah,
section of the.
So then we'd either put the valves here, just ideally so you can isolate
and
every part of the
especially
line.
with this will be in an easement, not that new ductile line should have an issue, but if something started blowing up, we'd want to be able to kill that
Kill it
line
itself.
from
Agreed.
both ends.
Yeah, no, we would plan on.
Yep.
Standard.
Okay.
So I see you have a lot of other land out here, Charlie. Any other plans for future expansion to here, to here?
No, this is like that other land that the
Yeah, high tension
gentleman-
lines are there somewhere.
Yeah, that's that other gentleman owns, like
Yep.
I don't really have anything to do with that. And I think they threw the house, see this lot right here, that's the lot, so they have that, so, cause I was, my intention was try to put a big house back up here for myself, like I've always said, kinda like in the
Yeah.
middle of nowhere, so that's why they didn't show a house here, that's kinda they showed here. And then obviously this, Kevin's gonna continue to kinda,
Because I think if this is developed by, I don't know, I'd rather see the 8-inch continued on 4-inch to replace it if you did tie it back on to tie the loop. I'm just saying, that's just my
Well, but
plumbing
that's
opinion.
something, if someone's putting
Yeah.
something up in here, we tell them, fine, you're
Right.
going, you're tying into
8-inch
here,
to here,
it's here.
yeah.
I think after what I went through, I'm not interested to go through any of that again, sir.
So you think you might end up extending out the back here and putting
Oh,
one more house up here?
to be honest with you, if that's there, I'm gonna put that house there, I'd put that on a well. It'd be crazy to try to get that water line all the way back there if I was gonna do that house. Personally, I guess, unless you're not getting a line over there or something, but I mean, I think you'd be like 1,000 feet to try to get it over here, it'd be crazy.
It's at least 500.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
it's,
easy.
so then I'm assuming you're gonna be a 2-inch line, and then,
Well, they probably want you to go 4-inch
Yeah.
for 8-inch for the hydrant, for fire protection.
yeah, so I mean, just.
You don't have
access.
much to be able to put in here either, between where the buffer zones are.
Yeah, no, you
Which is
can't,
right
you
here.
can't really.
Like,
What's this, these
I
lines?
think that's
High
something.
tension
that-
lines? Because they
No.
go this way.
No, yeah, I think
That's-
that's just something the engineered, like, I was looking at that, I'm like, what the hell is that? I don't, but I think that's just like something the engineer.
Typo.
misdrew. Yeah, it doesn't,
What happens? Is it
I
some,
wonder
was
why.
it something, no, cause there's
There's a,
fencing, that might be some kind of
Oh, yeah,
plantings or something out there. I thought it, cause when I drive down there, I remember
there's a
seeing
drainage
some-
ditch or something over there,
showing
is it?
there too, but that's not high tension, because you're right, they don't
No,
come through this property, they come.
Well, it's almost a continuation of this if you were to follow it
That's shown
back.
like the same way he's showing fence. I'm wondering if there's something out there that they were planting, like trellis or something they were planting on that got picked up.
I don't know, I don't remember seeing it,
I vaguely remember seeing something out there driving down
yeah.
Bryant. But doesn't matter, it's not his project.
No, I was curious what it is.
It's the aliens landing strip.
All right.
All right, so, yeah, go through that, come up
Okay.
with what you're gonna propose to put in, mark something up and have it back to us for that. And
Okay.
that way we can,
So we can put that just, even on a plan like this, showing it, and then just do connection details in like a detail sheet on.
yeah, like for here, show where your connections are,
Sure,
and then just, if you wanna do a blow up of the valves,
yeah,
call out your size on the pipes, where the hydrants are gonna be located,
let's see,
and then the same through for here.
call out valves.
and have your engineer come up with a description for the meets and bounds on the easement.
Prepare easement.
Do we have a minimum easement width in that, in those rules, Kevin, you know?
I think, it looks like he's got it shown about 20 feet, I
Yeah.
can double check that.
I'm just not sure, just take a look through the book and see if there's anything, because I think we usually want 20 feet. So he's got plenty of room, if you have to dig, you can put stuff on the side without going out of the easement.
So call out the valves, all the details, prepare the easements, meet and bounds, check on all the details in the book about the easement, and we're gonna give like a, kind of like a cut sheet, if you will, showing exactly how we're gonna make the connections,
Yeah.
or intend to.
Yeah.
Alright. Anything else I'm missing?
Nope.
Okay,
I don't think so.
When are you starting?
God knows, I guess.
This year, next year?
I would hope for this year. I mean, it'd probably be late. We talked to Mr. Barker and told him to continue to farm it, so it's just not, so he doesn't miss the season, and it's not just sitting. So we're actually going back to conservation tomorrow night to let them know that, you know, we kinda were able to work this out how they wanted to. And I think one of the things, you know, when we're ready to file with the planning board, but we wanted to kinda just get feedback
Okay.
from you guys and see if there's anything that we might have, you know, overlooked or been missing.
All right, very good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Charlie.
Good, thank you.
Guys, thanks for your time, I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming in early with it.
No,
Because otherwise, sometimes we find out about stuff
No,
as it's going in.
Yeah, and I talked to Wayne too, and I was so, and he told me to come and talk to you guys, so, thank you, hopefully you guys actually get out of here, they don't allow.
Well, we'll be here till 8 o'clock.
No, we
On
won't.
TV, maybe.
Bye guys, thanks for your time.
TV shuts off at 15:15.
What?
All right, where is it? Okay. Not, oh, actually, go through the rest of this, actually, will fall up under old business anyway. Wayne's not here, we'll talk about Styles the next time he's back. Potential merger with DPW and the superintendent job description. I got an email from, a text from David Gagby today, the Board of Selectmen would like us to have a joint meeting about the contract, potential organization and everything for the DPW commissioner becoming into the water superintendent role. They're proposing, they originally proposed Wednesday, I said no.
Wednesday, like this Wednesday?
Yeah.
I got plumbing board meeting.
Well, I had a conflict and I found frankly it's short notice, and after the way the last one went, we went through hoops to go to it. And wasn't exactly the best meeting. He's proposing next Wednesday, the 10th.
I think I have, Board of Health next Wednesday. Well, what time? My meeting would be from 5:30 to probably 6:30. Board of Health.
Let's see.
I do have Board of Health next week.
Probably, I think he said 7 somewhere, I'm not finding it now. If the date's okay, I can tell him, you want me to tell him like 7
Seven's,
p.m.?
seven's fine. Even 6:30. I usually the meeting's about an hour. They have busy agendas.
Aren't they having a meeting?
They'll have a meeting too, so.
They'll have their meeting, then we get at the end.
During.
So it'll be 9
Or
o'clock.
during, depending on,
Yeah,
depending
We're not
on
gonna
how,
go first.
But we'd say
Right
not,
then.
you'd say not before.
Not before 6:30.
No, okay.
You got any drawings? No, my Board of Health is,
I do have one that just came in.
So Wednesday, June 10th at 6:30.
I'm gonna
What's
say,
that?
not earlier than 6:30.
yeah, I just put 10th okay, not before 6:30, and let them get back to us on it. And we'll try to find out a little more information before, so we don't, and get it distributed, so we don't walk in blind with it,
Or else we just walk out.
and that will be it.
What is this?
Oh, what you asked for.
Oh geez, that was quick, like I said, I wasn't
I
expecting
showed her
that
an
tonight.
email when the meeting started.
Oh, all right. That's just, we have a letter memo from Wayne, just about his retirement and vacation time usage and stuff to try to get it used up before the end. And I asked Kerry for a list of his time, just so we knew what.
It says illness, illness, illness. Aren't you supposed to have a doctor's note?
No.
Huh? No.
Excuse me.
Sick, sick, illness, illness.
Plus sick accrual. So basically, he's got 124 sick days, 30 vacation days, and a half of a personal day left. And he's,
Is this, but July 1 is different, we'll have to add more numbers onto that, right?
yeah,
So it'll be another, whatever vacation days and all that stuff, so it'll probably be another 20. I think, isn't that what they get after 20 years here, 4 weeks or 5 weeks? So those numbers will change in another couple of weeks.
I'd forgotten about that. Okay, so he's gonna have a lot of time to take off before he gets to that point.
Is it, I don't know if we can talk about this in public session, but just in a general point of knowledge, is the sick days get by, what do we buy back? Is it vacation days, or how does that work?
Sick.
Sick days, but that's,
It's only 120 days, I believe.
Only?
6 months. Is that, so then the vacation days, he would have to use them or lose them, is that how it works?
And that's what he said,
anybody?
he uses vacation and personal days until it's off.
I
So
thought-
to use that up.
Okay.
I thought if you had over 3 sick days, you need a doctor's note.
I don't think you, I recently asked, cause I was hospitalized in April I was out for 5 days, and I asked Linda, and she said, no, I didn't need a doctor's note, as long as I was using my own time,
It's if you go over.
yeah.
I was told over 3 days. 3rd day you need a doctor's note.
Here,
Yeah.
Is it different for,
I don't think so.
Isn't a sick day sick?
No.
Well, you're taking it for personal.
well,
You got a headache.
In June?
How many days have you taken off of headaches?
How many days have I taken off?
ever? Probably not many. All right, that was just for our information, though, that's nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
Just so we can kind of figure out a little bit more in terms of what that transition taking place
Yeah.
with.
Well, we're probably talking 50 vacation days, somewhere around there, roughly right around there. This was 10 weeks, 2 months.
Okay, well, that's more reason why.
Just so we know what we have in our
This
head.
is more reason why getting this going and working out the thing for the transition.
I
period.
agree, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Plus, if he's gonna take over, if DPW is gonna do it, they should have input onto the new hire as well. Because we still have to advertise for a new hire. to
Correct.
replace the one. So, we'll have that on the agenda for the next meeting, please.
And then how do
Anything-
you want me to put that on there? How do you want it to be?
Just new business, new hire to replace,
You want a superintendent?
no, the one for the,
Deputy.
for Brendan,
Oh,
whatever that position's called.
laborer.
We'll put it at that for now, so we can at least get it going, and then if we wanna try to change that, or if we do some kind of a reorg, we can always.
We already reorged.
Well, we at least, no, we didn't, but we,
Yeah, we did.
no, not us,
Yes, we did. We reorged last week, last meeting.
no, us.
Us.
I'm talking about how they,
Oh.
I'm talking about how those jobs work.
Okay.
But we don't wanna even do that until we get through whether or not the DPW superintendent part works.
Okay.
So in the meantime, we still need to get that advertised to start looking for somebody, so just have that on the agenda for the next one.
All in favor?
You gotta make a motion
That's-
first.
That's not a motion. That's an executive decision directive.
Next meeting,
Next meeting is
June
15th.
15th. Anybody have anything else they would like to bring up currently at this meeting?
Negative. Motion to adjourn.
Mark, no, don't let him bully you, if you wanna bring something up.
On the way in here, I broke my shoelace. Could I get it compensated for my
You didn't trip and fall.
bootlace?
You bootlace or bootlip? Did you get him? You could've, you could've
Yeah, let me
tripped
see,
and
I'll
fell.
tie a knot in it for you.
All in favor?
You gotta make the, you gotta, I made the motion.
Did you make the
I
motion?
made the motion to
Second.
adjourn at
Second.
6:11.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, aye, aye.